The story begins with a group of goons trying to kill a man, but he single-handedly overpowered all of them. After knocking each one down, he thought no one was left to fight, so he sat down in peace only for someone to shoot him from behind. He died on the spot. His body was removed, the entire area was cleaned, and all the evidence was erased. The only thing left was the bullet casing, which rolled and bounced along streets and alleys until it reached the city. It was then shown that a college girl named Fumika worked part-time in a restaurant. In reality, she wanted to become a social media influencer, so she went to meet Kdrama, a popular online star. She went to meet him and told him that she wanted to be a content creator like him, but he ignored her and offered her drugs instead. She refused clearly, wanting only to get her work done through him. He kept drinking without stopping, and because of him, she missed her last train. After an entire night in the bar listening to him talk nonsense, they left in the morning. Meeting him was useless to her, and she even felt like kicking him just to see if it would knock some sense into him. But she controlled herself. On her way home, she tripped on the stairs and saw a bullet casing lying in front of her. When she picked it up, for a brief moment she saw visions of the gun from which it was fired. She quickly composed herself, put the casing in her purse and went home. Outside her apartment, her friend Maho was standing, saying she could not go home that day. Seeing an injury on her face, Fumika asked why she didn't break up with her boyfriend, after which they both went inside. Suddenly, Fumika saw a man standing by the door and was startled. Maho asked what happened, and Fumika asked who that man was. Maho looked at the door and said there was no one there. Fumika insisted the man was covered in blood, which made Maho think she must have taken something. Fumika threw an object at the man, but it passed right through him, after which she screamed that it was a ghost. Maho too became uneasy. She tried calming Fumika, and when the man disappeared, Fumika finally felt relief. Just then, Maho received a message and said she had to leave, advising Fumika to visit a doctor before going. As soon as Fumika closed the apartment door and turned around, she heard the same man's voice asking if it was okay to let Maho leave. Terrified, she pressed herself into a corner and said that it spoke. She tried to run but stumbled, and when the man saw she was about to fall, he grabbed her hand. Even so, she fell, because the moment he touched her, the ghost entered her body. The strange part was that they could talk to each other inside her body, and both could control it at the same time. Fumika told him to get out of her body, but the ghost explained that it was his first time being a ghost, so he did not know the process well. She said she didn't care and wanted him out. He said that was enough for the day and left her body. She felt relieved and thanked God for still being alive. But then he appeared again and remarked that possessing someone was not as good as he had imagined. Fumika screamed and ran, wondering whether she should call the police. The moment she got farther than 15 meters from him, he reappeared in front of her, because whenever she went beyond that distance, he automatically teleported right there. She ran again and came across Maho in an alley, whose boyfriend was asking for money and trying to hurt her. When Fumika confronted him, he told her to stay out of their business, then dragged Maho away, with Maho staying silent. The ghost appeared and asked Fumika if she wanted to punish him. Fumika did feel afraid, but this time she didn't run. The ghost told her that if she wanted power, she should take his hand. She refused, unwilling to give him control of her body again. The ghost reminded her of Maho's injury and asked if she didn't want to help her friend. Just then, she saw Maho's boyfriend mistreating her again. Seeing this, she agreed to the ghost's request. The moment she took his hand, the ghost entered her body. When Maho's boyfriend was about to punch her, Fumika caught his hand, spun him around, and delivered a powerful punch of her own. But even after that, he didn't learn his lesson and threatened to kill her. Before he could finish, he received a blow that completely knocked the fight out of him, and he collapsed unconscious on the ground. The ghost then left her body, but Maho's boyfriend got up again and attacked Fumika, trying to strangle her. The ghost told her to take his hand again, but despite her efforts, she couldn't reach him. At that moment, Maho hit her boyfriend on the head with a stone, saving Fumika's life. The two friends supported each other and started walking home. Meanwhile, the ghost noticed the man lying there and told Fumika that she should check if he was still alive. He wondered who even hit people with bricks like that. Fumika gave no reply and simply looked at him. Maho then asked if she could really see someone. Fumika confirmed she could. The three of them went to a shop, where Fumika told Maho everything about the ghost, that no one but her could see, hear, or touch him. Maho pointed out that the fighting Fumika did earlier was actually the ghost controlling her body. Fumika admitted it was true, and that he could take control whenever he wanted. Looking at her hand, she suddenly shouted at the ghost for what he had done. She immediately searched online for ways to get rid of a ghost, grabbed a bottle of salt, and began pouring it where he was sitting. Maho stopped her and made her sit quietly, as people nearby were beginning to think she was crazy. The ghost told her that he helped her and she was still angry with him. She told him to leave, but he replied that it wasn't that easy. He reminded her about the bullet casing she picked up, saying he believed it came from the bullet that killed him. Fumika quickly pulled the casing from her pocket, tossed it away, and told him she didn't know it was from a fired bullet. The ghost said he remembered nothing about how he died, but he thought that was the bullet that killed him. That was why, when she picked it up, he became attached to her. She was shocked to learn he had been murdered. The ghost revealed his name was Kudo and that he had been a hitman before he died. Hearing this almost made Fumika faint. Kudo said he worked for an organization and suspected that one of their groups had killed him. Until he avenged his death, he would not be freed. He told her they would hunt his killers together and eliminate them one by one, and all she needed to do was help him. Fumika, still in complete shock, refused outright and quickly left. She told Maho she had no interest in helping any hitman get revenge, deciding then and there to ignore Kudo from now on. Kudo remarked that it would have been better if the casing had been found by a soldier instead of her. But before leaving, Fumika handed Maho an alarm device and told her that if that man appeared again, she should call her and not forget to inform the police. After saying goodbye, she went to a church and threw the casing there, praying to God to free her from Kudo. Kudo said he wasn't an expert, but he didn't think it worked that way. Just then, Fumika received a message from Kdrama, who was with a boy named Naromi. Seeing this made her very excited. Kudo asked who Naromi was and why she looked so thrilled. Fumika explained that Naromi was a social media star with over 70,000 followers. Kudo looked at his photo and said in surprise that Naromi was not a good person. When Fumika asked how he knew, Kudo realized he didn't remember anything and stayed silent. She ignored his comment and left for the bar where Katayama and Naromi were partying. She joined them for drinks, but soon realized they were trying to touch her, and her head began to spin. She told them she wasn't feeling well and that she should go home, then paid at the counter and tried to leave. But she could barely walk and realized they had put something in her drink. Katayama and Naromi were talking to each other, saying they hadn't expected the drugs to work so quickly. At that moment, Fumika stood up, glared at them both in anger, and told Kudo that she should thank him for warning her they were trying to drug her. It turned out that at that moment when Kudo suddenly remembered something, he told Fumika that Naromi and Katayama used to drug girls and then take advantage of them. He explained that he knew this because the organization he once worked for made those pills, and he had seen the two of them buying from there many times. Fumika did not fully believe him, but she decided she would not take any chances. She told him that if what he was saying turned out to be true, she would break their bones. When Kudo asked how she planned to do that, she said she would let him take control of her body. He questioned why he should help her, so she promised that she would help him afterwards as well. Kudo agreed, but warned her that he suspected the bartender and the bar staff were also involved. His suspicion proved correct when the bartender tried to slip drugs into her drink, and Kudo immediately informed her. Fumika went straight to Naromi and Katayama and told them she knew they had spiked her drink, advising them to quietly hand themselves over to the police or face the consequences. They laughed and said the police could not touch them. At that, Fumika connected with Kudo and told them it was already too late for regret. Katayama mocked her, so she decided to start with him. She fought like a professional, beating all of them one by one. During the fight, the bartender ended up dead, and Fumika burst into tears out of fear. Kudo, unsure how to comfort her, told her not to worry as he would not let her go to jail. He said they would have to finish everyone and erase all the evidence, claiming it was not wrong because those people had ruined the lives of countless girls. To do that, he said they would need someone from his organization. The man was far from a saint, but he would get the job done. Kudo gave her a number and Fumika called the man, saying she knew Kudo and asking him to come quickly. After a while, a hitman named Kakera arrived and asked if she was alone and where Kudo was. Fumika began to explain that Kudo was now a ghost, visible only to her. Kakera took her words seriously, but thought she was joking. though the humor faded when he pulled out a knife and walked toward her. Kudo nervously told her that Kdrama would not hesitate to kill her. He quickly entered her body, twisted the knife towards Kdrama in one swift motion, and told him he still could not defeat him. Kdrama immediately recognized that only Kudo could do something like that. Fumika relayed Kudo's words to Kdrama, who then got to work. They loaded all the bodies into a vehicle and left. On the way, Fumika asked Kdrama about Kudo's death. Kdrama replied that he did not know much, but a few days earlier the owner of their organization had died and the owner's son had taken over. The new owner had started shady dealings, which Kudo disliked. Fumika concluded that the owner himself must have killed Kudo, but Kdrama said he was not sure. He then took them to the place where Kudo had been killed, and Kudo also found it strangely familiar. Kdrama eliminated all their enemies there, and then dropped Fumika in front of her apartment. Before leaving, he asked if she could really see Kudo. When she confirmed, he told her they should never meet again and left. Once inside, Fumika thanked Kudo, saying that if it was not for him, she did not know what those people might have done to her. Kudo replied that in his past life, he had killed many people, but in this afterlife, he enjoyed helping others, mainly because it came with fewer paperwork issues. Fumika asked him to promise he would remain a hero in this afterlife, and he agreed. She then went to sleep, exhausted. Meanwhile, in Kudo's organization, the new leader was wondering whether Kudo was truly dead or not. At that moment, Kdrama arrived, saying he needed to talk about Kudo. When the leader asked if Kudo had called him, Kdrama replied that Kudo's ghost had possessed a college girl. The leader did not believe him, but still sent some men to check. Kdrama warned that ordinary thugs would not survive, but the leader dismissed it as a joke. Kdrama looked at him with pity. Soon after, the thugs reached Fumika's apartment. Kudo sensed danger and woke her. Hearing footsteps, he realized 4 men were approaching. When they knocked on the door, he told her to take his hand. One of the thugs entered, and Kudo immediately possessed him, turning his gun toward the other 3. The leader of those goons saw from outside that gunfire was going on inside the apartment. When he went in to check, he found his 4 companions lying there injured. Looking down from the balcony, he saw that the girl was running away. While running, Fumika ended up at the very place where Kudo had died, and the surprising thing was that Kdrama was already there. Kdrama told her that he was the one who had informed everyone about her. Hearing this, Kudo became very angry at him. Fumika told Kdrama that because of him, her apartment had been ruined, and now he would have to fix it too. When Kdrama pointed a gun at Fumika, Kudo immediately entered her body, snatched the gun from Kdrama, dismantled it, and threw the pieces away. Then the 2 of them began fighting. Kdrama, using his cunning, picked up the gun again and tried to shoot, but Kudo once more snatched it and aimed it back at him. The moment Kudo pointed the gun, memories of how he had died came flooding back. Kdrama admitted that yes, he was the one who had killed Kudo. When Kudo asked why, Kdrama explained that when the new owner took over, they were against him. But later, without telling anyone, Kudo quit his job and the fire of their rebellion died out right there. After that, the new owner ordered Kudo's death, and Kdrama had to carry it out, otherwise, they wouldn't have spared him either. Kudo then remembered that when Kdrama came to kill him, he had actually given him a chance to escape. But Kudo, tired of his life, had told Kdrama to go ahead and kill him. Hearing this, Kdrama started crying, as he too was fed up with his own life. Meanwhile, the owner was furious that an ordinary girl had outsmarted his professional fighters and escaped. His men told him that her face didn't look like that of a normal person. There must be the spirit of Kudo inside her. Back with Fumika, Kdrama told her she would have to leave the city, as they would never stop chasing her. But Fumika suggested, why not just kill the owner himself? That way, the entire organization would collapse. Then, neither she nor Kdrama would be in danger, and most importantly, Kudo would finally be freed. Kdrama refused, saying that he was too dangerous and she might lose her life. Fumika, angry, said she would do it for herself and didn't care whether anyone came along or not. Because of them, her whole apartment had been destroyed, and now she wasn't going to spare the organization's owner. She then left with Kudo. A little later, Kdrama arrived in a car and said, "Fine, if you're going to die, I'm coming with you." The 3 of them reached the organization's premises. Kdrama went in first to scout how many goons there were and where they were positioned, while Fumika and Kudo headed towards the weapons warehouse. Kudo went ahead, keeping Fumika alert, since no one could see him, but he could see everyone. They reached the warehouse, gathered all the weapons they needed, informed Kakera, and he joined them. Kudo entered Fumika's body, and they attacked the goons. A fierce shootout followed, in which almost all the goons were killed. In the end, only the owner was left. Kudo shot him in both legs, forcing him to kneel. Fumika told the owner she wanted money for her apartment. The owner said, "What? You've destroyed my entire empire over an apartment?" But in truth, Fumika had done all this to free Kudo. Kakera then finished off the owner. Fumika was happy that everything was over, though she was in a lot of pain because her whole body felt battered. Limping, she began heading home, thanking Kudo for everything. Then she realized Kudo was no longer behind her. When Kakera asked what Kudo had said, she replied that he had probably left. Hearing this, Kakera was quite pleased that they finally succeeded in their mission. Kakera offered to pay for her apartment and said they would never meet again. Fumika thanked him and headed home. A few days later, as Fumika was passing the stairs, she spotted the same bullet casing again. Seeing it brought a smile to her face, and she put it in her purse, thinking that maybe Kudo might come to meet her again someday. And with that, the story came to an end.